The body count continues.
It's Friday the 13th.
You know what that means? We're streaming Rebecca Black's Friday hit song that has aged wonderfully.
What the
No?
That
Okay.
has nothing to do with anything. You just took a hard left off a
Okay,
cliff.
I guess it's something to do with a movie franchise that you like or something.
Oh, that
right?
I like.
Yeah, I mean, you're the Friday girl. I'm just along for the ride. I'm like the victim that you brainwashed into loving Friday the 13th also.
Brainwashed, but it was literally just me showing you a few movies and you saw the light.
We'd be like, actually, this kind of slaps.
That's exactly what happened. That's not brainwashing.
Yeah,
I
it's kind
fixed
of
you.
my favorite horror franchise now. It's overtaken Halloween,
Excellent.
even Scream.
It's by far the most consistent franchise. So
Yeah, I would agree. For a while, it was Scream, but that changed.
my work is done.
Certainly changed recently with Scream 7.
Yes, we don't talk about that movie. Friday the 13th should be a national holiday. We should all be off work.
And this is National Holiday 2 out of 3 for the year.
We get 3 this year. We're spoiled. 1 more in November.
And of course, what we have to do whenever there's a Friday the 13th is have a Friday the 13th themed episode.
We pay our respects to Jason and Pamela Voorhees. And I'm gonna put Pamela Voorhees in bold because some of
Because
you
you don't think she's respected.
not enough. Definitely not enough. There would be no Jason without Pamela.
Yeah, like she
I
squeezed him
mean,
out.
I was gonna say she literally birthed him, but she also birthed a franchise.
I agree. Credit where credit's due. We love Pam. But we're going to talk about other women today. The final girls of Friday the 13th. Which Pamela is not one of those because she went and got her head lopped off. Plus
She walked it off.
she jumps up out of the lake at one point during the franchise, so maybe. But she's also hanging out down there with Jason while he's queefing away.
Stop that. He doesn't queef.
That's something to discuss in the... Is it New Blood where that happens? Or Jason
Yes.
lives?
It's New Blood.
Well, when we get to New Blood,
Or
we'll
no,
settle
maybe
this
it is
debate once
Jason
and for
Lives.
all.
Maybe it is Jason Lives. Now I can't remember.
Maybe he queefs in both.
He doesn't queef. Stop that.
We'll find out when we rewatch. But before we get to the final girls, we could talk about something that we mentioned briefly last week. And of course, Paramount went and dropped the trailer just before our episode dropped. So it was immediately out of date what we were saying. I love that for us. But the Scary Movie 6 trailer did jump online at the start of this week.
It
and you
dropped
love it.
it dropped 2 days after we recorded.
Yes.
I'm seriously annoyed by that fact.
They set us up.
Thanks, Paramount.
Blocking them.
No, but I did love it. It feels like a return to form. It feels like the year 2000 all over again, but obviously updated with movies like Sinners, the DGG Halloween trilogy. What else did I see in there?
Ma's in there.
John Wick, maybe. I feel like that scene where Cindy is fighting Ghostface with dildos. I feel like that's John Wickish.
I wouldn't know. I've not seen John Wick.
I've only seen 2 of them. I'm not the biggest fan, but
Is there a lot of dildo action in there?
no, none.
Okay.
It looks so fucking funny. I know you're happy because Shorty is back with your favorite line of the franchise. Run, bitch, run. It's one of my most anticipated movies this year.
Yes, especially now that I've seen the trailer, it's jumped way up there on my most anticipated list. Maybe at the top, in fact, because I'm just that unserious about these things.
With the Wayans being back, I knew it was going to look good.
And like you say, it's very 2000s. It's sort of like a reboot of the original Scary Movie in a way, with all the characters they're bringing back. Gail Hailstorm, Goofy,
Greg.
who's back in character somehow. Have they just forgotten that he was faking it? Maybe they'll explain it away. Maybe he got hit by a motorcycle too. Now he's like me.
Maybe he stuck the vacuum cleaner in the wrong hole.
Yeah, maybe like there was some sort of electrical fault there and it just zapped him. Like the voltage ran up through his dick, through the rest of his body and into his brain, and now he's doofy. We can only hope and pray that the Wayans brothers will offer us an explanation.
I laughed from start to finish, and I've watched it easily at least 50 times. But the one part that really made me smile big was Ray. Why just half gay?
Yeah, I cracked up at that part.
You know who else is back? Bobby.
Yeah, I saw him smiling briefly. They're getting hit with a
He gets the
bedpan.
Jill Roberts special.
Hell yeah. I appreciated it.
Made you think of her?
What doesn't?
Let's add the bedpan to her brand.
Maybe she does another convention appearances. You can show up there with a bedpan and ask her to sign it.
Bold of you to assume that I would not do that, because I would.
Actually, this is why I'm suggesting it for you, because you're the kind of person that would show up and do that. So there. That's the positive news for this week.
I think we can all agree that 2026 has been a rough year. And this week, the hits just kept on coming. So, first, fuck you, Shudder.
Rough week for them and their social media team.
They decided to pull the plug on The Last Drive-In after 7 seasons, which I'm not a child. I do realize that shows get canceled all the time. It was the way it happened. First, we got a very cryptic, ominous video from Joe Bob telling the mutant fam that we needed to tune in on Friday night. And I knew something was up. And then before Joe Bob and Darcy got to announce it themselves, Shudder put out this press release that was just so cold and detached and the complete antithesis of the mutant fam and the community that's been built around this show and Joe Bob
Absolutely.
himself. So yes, I'm upset about it being canceled, but the way it went down was just so shady. And then yeah, Shudder's social media team, they were in the line of fire on Friday night when the last episode aired because their tone deaf ass decided to live tweet the entire fucking show.
Yeah, as if it was just a regular, normal night at the drive-in.
Who
Like,
loves Darcy?
just
Well, why the fuck
ignoring the
did you
elephant in the
fire
room.
her?
Yeah, apparently you guys don't love her because you're cutting the show off after 7 seasons, and it's so popular as well. Like, I saw thousands of people, well, probably not thousands, but certainly a lot of people saying that they were cancelling their subscriptions, and they get thousands of viewers from the Mutant Farm not every week because they don't air it every week, but every time it does air, they must get a boost in people using the Shudder TV feature because nobody uses that any other time. And they've just they've taken something away from their own service that made it special and distinctive, and they've done it in such a shitty way that there's a lot of ill feeling towards Shudder right now, and rightly so.
Rightly so. Like, I think this could have been handled so much better.
And just let them be the ones that announce it. Like, don't cut their legs out from under them.
They should have been able to announce it their way. The whole thing feels like a slap in the face. Um, and to understand the scope of this fandom, this community, I've only been watching since 2021. I discovered the show on Shudder.
Same, same. I discovered the show because you introduced me to it. So
Hell yeah. But that's how it's like there's so much word of mouth
yeah,
that's built this show.
there's been a film critic for a long time.
The Monster Vision days, we didn't have TNT in Canada, so I wasn't able to watch that.
Mhm.
And when I started watching The Last Drive-In on Shudder, I was watching the episodes after they had been uploaded. I only started watching the live show and tweeting along with it like 2022, the next year.
Yeah,
The Mutant Fam is such a huge community, and everybody gets together to have what feels like the biggest watch party on earth every Friday night, though it wasn't every Friday night anymore because the format has undergone quite a few changes in the last few years. This season it was once a month, but the format has been changing, and the assumption is, and that's certainly what it looks like, is that Shudder has been slowly pumping the brakes on The Last Drive-In for a couple of seasons.
yeah, they've been drip feeding us a bit for a while.
And this show and the fandom, it's so huge. You have Joe Bob's Jamboree every year that's attended by so many people, and it's just a mutants getting together to watch movies at a drive-in, basically what we do every Friday night, but just doing it in person.
Yeah,
And it's just a place where weirdos can get together and talk about the weird shit that we like. And Joe Bob has always kind of validated that while also making us feel like, no, you're not weirdos. It's so much fun. And it's sad that it's over. I mean, okay, it's not completely over. Shudder is giving them 4
4 specials.
specials this year. One that will be airing, I think, April 24th, if I'm not mistaken, and then 3 more for the rest of the year, which feels to me like a consolation prize.
Yeah,
Joe Bob says that they're not done yet. I'm hoping they find a new home. Personally, I do want this to continue.
same.
But regardless of how this ends, the drive-in will never die. But in other news, in other not great news this week, like I said, 2026 sucks ass. Fuck
It
you.
does. Boo.
Bruce Campbell has announced that he has cancer, a form of cancer that is not curable but treatable. And his announcement was not too emotional in tone, and he signed off by saying that he was going to fight this thing.
Yeah, it was as upbeat as it can be, given the circumstances, which are pretty horrible.
Yeah, we've lost too many icons of the horror genre. My heart can't take this anymore.
Yeah. Let us keep Ash Williams for a little while longer, please, universe.
We're all manifesting a miracle for him.
Sure. Even you as a non-Evil Dead fan.
I'm not a non-fan. I'm as a lukewarm fan.
Yeah.
I recognize his contribution to the genre. He's such a nice
It's
man.
iconic.
He's so nice to his fans. He's always at conventions. So it's like I said, it's a lot of bad news this week, and I feel like we need some good news. Now would be a perfect time for whoever the fuck is in charge of things to announce a new Friday the 13th movie. Something to
We
lift the
don't just want the
spirits.
TV series, we want an actual movie with Jason Voorhees in a good mask, I should add.
I want it all. I'm greedy. I want the TV series. I want the movie. I want a video game. Waterboard me with content.
Best I could
But
do is a Halloween video game.
hey, I'll take it. I'm really excited for that.
There's a
Let's
Hellraiser one coming out too. Looking forward to that.
I saw, yeah.
I'll
I'm
try
not
them both.
as Hellraiser is single player, and I'm not that excited for it. I feel like I'm in the minority on this, given how the previous Friday the 13th game and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game and the Evil Dead game all turned out. So the Halloween game is announced, and there's a lot of negativity towards horror games in general that come out now. There seems to be a lot of disdain for online play. Everybody wants a single player story format. I guess I've always viewed gaming as a social activity, and Friday the 13th really heightened that because I have so many friends that I'm still friends with online that I met playing that game.
Block them.
And it doesn't matter what game you're playing, when you find a good group, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
And look, I'm an introvert. I'm not always in the mood to socialize, but playing online games feels like you're socializing without all the pressure.
Yeah, I didn't used to be into multiplayer games so much. Lately I've been doing all right in Dead by Daylight, so it's not too bad. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Halloween. And plus, it's going to have a single player mode as well, so it's something for everyone.
Well, I'm seeing people wishing for it to fail,
Yeah,
which is
come
so
on.
weird to me. And it's because the developers behind it, is it Gun or Ilphonic?
It's Gun that people, I think they're both involved in this game, but Gun's the big bad.
Gun and Ilphonic are made Friday the 13th, and people have been hating on Gun since Friday got shut down, but the truth of the matter is, it's a lawsuit that got the game shut down. Gun had nothing to do with it. They were planning to continue on releasing new content, so I feel like making Gun the villain of that story is so silly. Regardless, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm going to
I
get it.
think
I'm going to play it.
I think the game's gonna fucking slap.
Can't wait to sandbag you in Halloween.
Um,
What?
I wish you luck.
But you're just too damn good. You can just leave me to die
But
if
I
I'm not
don't
good
do
enough.
that. I don't leave you to die when we play games together. That's your MO.
You are quite altruistic. No, I've changed. We've not played in a while, but I've changed. Trust. I only abandon when it's absolutely necessary.
That's literally what you've always said. So
Different.
nothing has changed. Also, might I add, you've abandoned me when it is completely and utterly unnecessary.
Couple of times.
You are an XP whore. Either that or you just have this thirst to win that overrules any need to play as part of a team with any kind of honor.
I've gotten better.
But without a shadow of a doubt, I do outplay you. But I play more games than you, and I play more often than you.
You hear this, guys? She's
But
roasting me right now.
you know it's
To
true.
outplay you.
I
You don't have to
do.
say it. It's true, but she shouldn't say it.
I'm glad you admitted it.
I get more points. I get like 7,000 points for escaping and only like 1,200 if I unhook you.
And you get 8,200 if you do both.
All right,
Oh,
let's move on to Friday the 13th, Final Girls.
how convenient for you. Let's talk about the final girls of the Friday the 13th franchise.
Real horror franchise.
12 iconic women, iconic for a variety of reasons, some good reasons, some very bad.
It is a bit of a mixed bag when it comes to Final Girls, but Most
There's
of the
something for
worst ones
everybody.
are near the end. Yeah, there is something for everybody, including people who don't have any taste.
Yeah.
But again, we'll get there eventually.
And I feel like Friday the 13th, not anymore, at the time was the first major franchise to do a rotation of the final girl.
Yep,
How
it's a
where
new
had
one every time.
Yeah, when Halloween was focusing on Laurie and Alien was focusing on Ripley and Hellraiser was focusing on Kirsty. There are no repeat final girls in this franchise.
Yeah,
Alice comes back, but just to die.
this franchise said we've got all the girls. We don't just need one.
But I like the variety. As much as I love Laurie Strode, I like that Friday has a variety.
Yeah,
Different characters.
like you said, there's something for everyone.
Yeah. And everybody has their own favorite, their own least favorite, and
We'll talk
get
about
into
ours.
we'll get into that at the end. But for now, I guess we're gonna start at the beginning with Alice Hardy. Thoughts?
Friday the 13th answer to Laurie Strode in a way. Although she's a little bit more open and adventurous than Laurie Strode was. She plays strip poker
Stripanopoly.
or whatever it is.
It's a very big distinction. It's fucking Stripanopoly. I don't want to get all comic book guy on you, but like, come on.
Actually,
Exactly that.
worst podcast co-host ever.
Stripanopoly,
She
and
smokes weed.
she smokes weed.
She's just like you in a way. You guys have monopoly money.
Stop that. We're assuming that Alice is not a virgin, so she kind of bucks the tradition at the time, although it's not confirmed. I think she slept with Steve. It seems like they've been intimate. She's a bit adventurous. Laurie Strode's adventurous. She smokes weed, coughs a bit, but
Alice is
I think
probably the
it's
more
cute.
experienced weed smoker.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, what are your thoughts on Alice Hardy?
She's all right. She's not going to be high ranking for me at the end of this, but she's not the worst. I think we both have a girl in this movie that we would have preferred to be the final girl. Probably discussed that in our actual Friday the 13th episode, if I remember correctly.
Yes, we are both Team Brenda.
Brenda supremacists over here. She was more fun than Alice. Again, she's a little boring, not completely boring, but she's not Brenda.
For me, she's a snooze. Her fight scenes with Pamela are really, really good.
Yeah, for me, that's what's great about Alice, that she gets a prolonged chase sequence / fight sequence with Pamela Voorhees at the end.
And it goes on for quite a while, prolonged, like you said, and then they're in the cabin and they're outside and they're back in the cabin and they're on the beach.
Feels like almost the whole final act.
I feel like it is. And of course, she's the one who decapitates my sweet, sweet Pamela.
With her hairy knuckles clutching at the air after her head flies off.
So she's got some fight in her.
Yeah.
She's a strong final girl, but overall, I've always found her to be a bit of a snooze.
Yeah. Like a 6 out of 10, maybe.
I have final girls in this franchise that I really, really love. I have some that I strongly dislike. And then there's the group in the middle. Alice is in the middle.
Okay, that's fair. And she does count as a final girl, guys, even though she dies in the second movie, because you only have to survive one. That's the rule.
Every final girl goes on to die. Nobody's invincible.
Yeah, eventually.
The idea that a final girl has to remain immortal to keep her designation.
Good news for Sienna Shaw if that's the case. She's going to be the only final girl.
Her death at the beginning of part 2 adds absolutely nothing to the movie.
Yeah,
It's an
a little
extra body.
It's a little side quest that Jason goes on at the beginning of the movie. It doesn't really connect itself to the rest of the film.
It doesn't. And he leaves Crystal Lake to go and hunt her down.
Yeah, which he doesn't do in anything else in any of the other movies. So, I mean, I guess they felt like they had to write her out.
He does go to Manhattan.
It's different though. That's him hitching a ride.
But I just think it's so cheap. It added nothing to the story. Part 2 is such a good movie, such a strong movie. Omitting that scene wouldn't make one bit of difference at all.
Okay, well, one thing that Friday Part 2 does give us is a great final girl. One of the great final girls of this franchise, in my opinion anyway. I'm sure you agree.
I agree.
But it's Ginny,
Ginny Field.
who has a lot more personality than Alice, I think it's fair to say.
Ginny is a fucking warrior. Of all the final girls, she's the one that has the best chase / fight sequence with Jason. She's resourceful. She thinks fast. She puts on the sweater to distract him for a second. In that scene, she's tucking her hair under the sweater to hide her long hair. She's a smart girl. I love her so much. She is the best final girl of the franchise. She's not my personal favorite. I have to concede that my personal favorite is not the best of the franchise for reasons
That we'll
I'll
get
get
into.
into. But Ginny is the best, the most well-rounded, I love her so much. And
Yeah.
another sex positive final girl because she's out there fucking Paul in the woods. Good for her. I love that for
No,
her.
I get it. You've summed it up quite nicely. I almost don't have to contribute to this part of the conversation because you nailed it.
What part?
The Ginny section.
And oh, she's into Jason's lore, you know?
Yeah. She's been thinking about it. She's got her own theories and she talks about them while knocking back the beers in the bar. So she's a whole package. She's really cool. She can drink too.
She is really cool and gorgeous girl. Love her so much. Icon. And
Yes,
I want to say, because there is no face of the franchise in terms of final girls, I feel like if one of the final girls were to be the face of the franchise, it would be Ginny.
I agree.
I think the consensus amongst the majority is that she is the best final girl. Like, I don't think that's a hot take at all.
No, someone who's not as good, at least in our
Oof.
opinion, is the protagonist of part three, Chris.
Chris
A,
Higgins.
a lot of people really like Chris, but
We
again,
don't.
it's sort of, I don't dislike her, but it's just sort of the same thing with Alice originally. She's there. She's in the movie. She's the final girl. Good for her. She's not Ginny.
Listen, let's talk about a downgrade. So, funny enough, Chris used to be my favorite final girl when I first got into the franchise
Why?
because she was brunette. Blonde women just permeate the entire horror genre, especially in the 80s. There's just blonde women everywhere
Absolutely.
for the most part. And
So
so,
Chris was
yeah,
a nice change for you.
when I saw this brunette girl, who, by the way, she is a stunning fucking girl. Stunning. And in the first part of the movie, she's wearing this really cute outfit, these pink corduroy pants with this like vintage striped top.
I can picture it.
I fell in love with her. And I think when I was younger, I maybe didn't see what I see now, which is the number of times in the movie
Making it
that she
sound like you
says,
married her.
no, but
Over the years. The love has waned. The romance isn't there anymore. Now I have to take pills.
we had an acrimonious divorce.
She took the
You
kids.
see how I talk about Megan, like she was my Megan before Megan was my Megan.
It was that serious for a while there.
It was. And now when I watch it, I notice, for instance, how many times in the movie she says, "Come on, you guys." Like,
Well, you guys.
she's just like a whiny, annoying ass wet blanket
Okay, so
who,
I don't really dislike her, but it sounds like you have come to dislike her. Is she lower than Alice?
yes.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, when I say dislike, yes, I would say dislike. I find her whiny. These movies are built around a group of teenagers going out to the woods to have fun. And she's the only one in this movie who doesn't look like she's having fun.
Yeah,
And
she's not
maybe
about
the
fun.
reason for that is that she has come to her cabin to heal the trauma of her implied sexual assault at the hands of Jason. Something else that is a huge fucking problem for me.
Yeah, I know you hate that
Huge.
storyline.
I hate it so much.
So unnecessary.
I pretend it doesn't exist,
I get it. That's fair.
but I have to give credit where credit is due.
You know,
She also has an amazing chase and fight scene with Jason. Outside, through the house, she jumps out the window from the second story, then they're into the barn. It's a great scene. Now,
she does get bailed out though, doesn't she? In the end,
Chris Higgins has an asterisk on her final girl status.
fucking cheated.
She used a cheat code.
A
Look,
cheat code named
Ali.
Ali, who pops up after presumably being killed earlier in the movie in a pretty violent fashion, might I add, but
Yep.
apparently he survived that, and he pops up
At the
toward
11th hour.
toward the end of the movie to suffer even more grievous wounds and this time actually die in service of making Chris Higgins your least favorite final girl up till this point.
The way I would have continued to play dead.
Kill that bitch, please.
So I
Yeah,
died to
it's
save
bad
her.
strategy.
She's the only final girl in the franchise that would be dead if it was not for Ali.
Ali.
Here's some guy who isn't even part of this core group. He's part of this biker gang who tries to burn down her barn and gets, and I'm using air quotes, killed in the process because he doesn't die. So she's the final girl by dumb luck because right before Ali woke up, Jason was advancing on her and she was done. Done.
You're not a fan.
There was an alternate ending where she's decapitated. Kind of would have preferred that.
Yeah, that would have been kind of sweet.
And
A
it's
hard
not
ending.
It's not even because I don't like her. You'd be giving the audiences something they don't expect, kind of the way we feel about Jenna's death in the reboot.
Yeah, would have been a good lead into the final chapter.
I feel like that was a missed opportunity. I think that that's the ending they should have gone with other than her being driven away while she loses her mind.
Sure. Well, speaking of the final chapter, another final girl I don't really care all that much about.
Trish Jarvis.
Jarvis, that's the one, who gets to be a final girl really because she's related to the real protagonist in this movie, which is Corey Feldman's Tommy Jarvis.
Well, I feel like she is a protagonist,
She's not part of the main group of kids that are here to have fun and have sex in this particular movie. She's off to the side.
which is, best of my recollection, how I felt watching this for the first time. Like, why are we following this family around? I wanna be over at the party house.
Yeah, they put a spin on the formula for this, the final movie in the franchise.
I mean, she's not a bad protagonist. Tommy's the one that ultimately kills Jason.
Yeah, he's the
Doesn't
main
kill
one.
him, but
He's the
for
real
the
final girl.
for the purposes of this movie, he is the one that lands the blow that kills Jason, so to speak. But prior to him doing that, it's an odd juxtaposition because I don't find Trish that interesting, but she has, after Ginny, the best fight scene with Jason.
Okay. Yeah, I can see the vision there.
They're
I
running back
just
and forth between the Jarvis house and the party house. She gets thrown out of a second-story window. She's running around in the rain in this gorgeous blue dress, and she does a good job, she slices his hand open. She's fighting back. She's got a nice scream. It's
yeah.
it's a weird situation where she has all the ingredients to be a final girl that I really love,
Yeah,
but
you're
I'm
kinda selling her
just
right now.
but I don't have that overwhelming feeling about her. I
Yeah.
like her. She's good.
Think I think Sarah would have been a better final girl.
I'm
Sarah
sorry.
who has sex and, by slasher rules of the night, that's what does it for her. She she's cool.
Sarah
Yeah, I like Sarah.
Sarah
Yeah.
Sarah with
She's
the sweater?
yeah,
Oh my
in the
god.
shower scene. Well, she's part of the main group of kids, like, why not
Okay.
have her be the final girl? Like, kill off the whole Jarvis family except for Tommy and then maybe have them 2 team up. Brings it all together into, a nice little homogeneous ball, but that
So,
doesn't happen. They kill her. It'd be
I
sad.
I have to do some research on this because I need to know if there's, like, a Sarah army that's about to rise up. Is this a thing? Are there people out there who actually wanted her to be the final? It's just I don't think I've ever heard anything like that before. My
O
choice for final girl in part 4 would have been Sam. I love
o
Sam.
okay. Maybe
And
there's other Sarah Truthers out there. Maybe I'm not alone. I hope
Sarah
not.
slut shamed my girl Sam, and I don't like that.
Well, maybe Sam shouldn't have been such a slut. I don't know. What, do you not
Wow.
like Sarah?
No, she's okay, but
Is this my hot take for the episode? That
I think it's
Sarah was better
like
than Trish?
I think this is a hot take of a lifetime, personally.
Oh,
I don't think
is
she's
that
better than
serious?
Trish. Well, to me, yes, because this is my whole life. This franchise is my whole
Th
life, so this is a big deal. But,
I've lost her.
the scene that kills me is when they go to the lake at the beginning to go skinny dipping, the
Right.
entire group, they're dressed like they're going to the lake in the summer. Shorts, tank top.
Yeah.
This one is wearing, like, a frilly pink skirt and a sweater.
That's an 80s final girl for you.
And she's refusing to strip and dip. No fun.
Okay, well, Trish it is.
I prefer Sam. But Trisha's like, she's the final girl that's good on paper. She ticks all the boxes. She's just nowhere near my favorite. You know what? She might be closer to the top of the list than I first imagined. We're gonna get into some pretty unfortunate final girls as we go along here. There's a
Yeah,
decline. There's a decline at some point, a steep decline.
yeah, it does peak at some point, but eventually it does decline, and I think it declines a bit even here after part 4 because in A New Beginning, we get Pam.
Pam Roberts.
Pam Roberts, who, yeah, like, again, it's another movie where I think there's better options, or at least options that I would preferred.
That's fair.
Like Violet, I like Violet for dance moves, her cool hair. Or even just give her the original death that they had
Oh, that
before they
was never
censored it. That would have
That
been
was
cool.
never gonna happen. The MPAA had a vendetta for this franchise in the 1980s.
You're right, but
Was
it
never gonna
should have
happen.
fucking happened. That's what I'm
I
saying.
agree.
If they're not gonna let her live and be a better final girl than Pam, might as well go do that. How do you feel about Pam?
I don't like her. I don't dislike her. There's a lot of final people in this movie. We have Pam, we have Tommy Jarvis, and we have Reggie the Reckless. All three survive,
Yeah.
and all three of them contribute
Yeah,
to
it's not
defeating
Jason
Roy.
in this movie, it's Big Roy. My goat.
So Pam doesn't do all the heavy lifting.
No, it's team effort.
And part 5 has some very interesting characters. Like you said, Violet. I love Violet. Should have been a final girl. I feel the same way about Tina also.
Well, again, Tina was never going to be the final girl with what she was up to, which I also wouldn't take away from the movie, by the way. Just saying.
There's a lot of interesting characters in this movie. So I think because you had so many characters, there was not enough time to dedicate to Pam. And I think it's really just a case of you didn't give me enough to feel one way or the other about her. The scene at the end with the chainsaw is fun.
Middle of the road, maybe?
She's in the middle for me. She's okay.
Well put.
She's below Alice.
Okay. Is Alice going to be like the pH test of this episode? You're either above Alice or below Alice. That's how it works.
Maybe Alice is the litmus test.
The next final girl is definitely way above Alice, way above Pam, because she's not Megan.
We are on to the greatest final girl of all time. Objectively not the greatest, but in my
Yeah.
mind, in my universe, the greatest.
She's your favorite. Not the best, but your favorite. Megan.
She's my
If
favorite.
Jason lives.
And the only reason she cannot be the best, and I don't give a shit, I still love her, but she was really robbed of any kind of fight scene with Jason, because Tommy's the one who takes that on in this movie. Tommy takes a bigger role.
She takes the driver's seat at one point.
She does.
Remember that?
Yes, I do.
It's going to
But
be a hairy turn.
even taking a bit of a backseat in the movie, she still stands out. Her attitude, she's
Great
so
personality, I think.
Yeah, she's sassy, she's funny, she's roasting her father from start to finish. She's got a comeback for everything.
If your mother was still alive.
She's just the right amount of cunty. I love it.
And a really good performance from
Jennifer Cook.
Yeah, see, I knew that you'd know her name. You have all these names memorized, like even the actors that nobody else ever heard of. Marianne knows the names.
That's not true. My memory is not what it used to be.
But yeah, Jennifer Cook, I think, gives one of the best performances as the final girl in this franchise. And as you say, she doesn't do the heavy lifting that some of the others do, but it doesn't really affect how I rank her.
No.
It would have been nice to see her give Jason a few whacks, but it doesn't happen. She's fun. Yeah.
Out of all the final girls, and I'm not talking by a little bit, by miles, she has the best personality, the funnest personality. You're just kind of drawn into her. We love Megan.
There's some people, would you believe, that don't rank her that highly? I guess for some of the reasons that we've just talked about, but like
And
you say,
I get
think her
it.
personality is what makes the difference here.
There is no wrong answer. If we're talking about who's your favorite final girl of the franchise,
I mean, I think there's a couple of wrong answers. I'm looking at my list. There's 2 wrong answers here at least.
if your favorite final girl from this franchise is either Jessica or Lori, just know that I'm judging you.
But that's for later in the episode.
Anyways, next.
Next up is
Another queen.
final girl who actually does do a lot of heavy lifting. She does most of the heavy lifting, in fact, but she does it with her mind. She does it with her mind. Because
Tina Shepard.
the Carrie of the Friday the 13th franchise.
Jason versus Carrie in an alternate universe.
Who, like Chris, is returning to Camp Crystal Lake to confront previous
some
trauma,
trauma.
I guess, yeah. Or at least that's
Ooh.
what her doctor tells her. He's actually just a scumbag. But Tina's pretty cool. And she certainly fucks up Jason a lot in The New Blood. Poor guy, he's so confused. She's using her psychic powers on him. He's been attacked by tree branches and fucking slammed into puddles. She's powerful as Tina.
It's such a departure. And I wasn't a huge fan when I was younger. I think the first time I watched it, I was like, what the fuck is this? No, thank you. Too weird.
Yeah, it took me a long time to warm up to it. It's one of the movies that I changed my mind about when we were rewatching them.
I fixed you. I continue to fix you.
Yeah,
You are a fixer-upper.
Nice correction you made there.
Yes.
He's a work in progress.
He is. We all are. There's not one person on this planet that is not a work in progress.
Yeah, I'm getting close.
No. It's like the journey that has no destination. It's just a journey.
Thought it was called The Never Ending Story, but okay.
Okay, we're not crying today. Her final girl is unlike any other in the franchise. Big shout out to Lar Park Lincoln.
R.I.P.
Rest in peace. I imagine this movie shoot had to have been difficult. Her character is in crisis for
The whole
three
time.
quarters of the movie. Imagine, if you're shooting a horror movie and you're running through the woods and you're screaming, that must be fun. But this constant state of trauma, and she's always crying and she's yelling at her doctor.
Yeah,
That have
she's going through it in this movie.
the emotional toll.
Yeah, Tina never gets to have fun in this movie. Unlike pretty much every other final girl, except for Chris, who refuses to have fun on principle. Tina doesn't get to have fun.
At the end, when her and Nick are taken away in the ambulance, they hold hands and she gets this smile across her face.
It's a little upbeat note turned on.
You just lost your mother.
Yeah, at least Laurie Strode waited a couple of years to write her book about how healed she was after the death of her daughter.
Exactly.
How about Rennie from Jason Takes Vancouver?
Oof. This is where we get the drop off.
Yeah, this is a severe downgrade from Tina, just in terms of character.
She's
She's there.
gorgeous girl. Absolutely gorgeous. I love her hair. She's got curly hair and it just every time I watch, when I see her, that's the first thing I think, just how beautiful she is. There's nothing else there.
Beauty skin deep.
Like,
This one.
we learn she's a writer, but we don't learn much beyond that. We don't learn what does she write. She has a history with Jason. He almost drowned her when she was a child. She's afraid of water as a result, afraid of swimming. I don't know, doesn't do it for me. Her boyfriend's a bit of a wet wipe. I mean, him too. Him too, very good looking. What I will say about the two, I guess they're the leads in the movie. Her and her boyfriend, I feel two very good looking people, and that's it.
Yeah, this is one of the movies where the main girl, at least, is outshined by a couple of other characters that are more interesting. And I know that you personally, although she's not in the movie very much, you personally would have preferred JJ as the final girl with her guitar. Personality is there that's completely lacking in Rennie.
They give JJ so much personality, and she gets only 5 minutes of screen time.
Guts.
While writing Rennie as completely devoid of any personality, it's so weird.
Yeah, only the side characters are allowed to be fun in this movie, not the main one.
I love Jason Takes Manhattan, despite Rennie.
It's a fun one.
It's not a fatal flaw.
It's one of the stupider movies in the franchise, but it has its charms. Has lots of memes as well.
She has a great chase scene with Jason where they run through the streets, they run through the subway, they run through Times Square.
We learn that he's part elephant.
Chase scene is great. No notes. She doesn't have a fight scene with him because in this movie it's toxic waste that kills him at the end when the
Classic New
sewers are
York.
flooded. So she's a final girl. I don't feel like she worked as hard to earn that status. She let him into the sewer and then she climbed a ladder at the last minute and he reverted back to a child. She got lucky. That's how I see it.
I would have preferred Eva as a final girl. You're just going to say it's because she's hot, which is true. But again, you shouldn't say it.
I love Kelly Who, I do.
Who?
I think JJ was a
Duh.
more interesting character.
Okay.
This is going to irritate you.
I'm used to it with you. Go ahead.
Kelly Who's character is a bit of a bootlicker in this movie.
Bootlicker?
Yeah, she's a follower. She's gargling Tamara's balls. Assumption is that Tamara is the mean girl.
She's the boss bitch.
She's the Chanel Oberlin of the Lazarus.
Let's not get carried away now. She's all right, but she's not Chanel Oberlin. But I see what you're trying to say.
Calm down. Eva is the equivalent of Chanel number 5.
She has a great death, at least. Gets choked out and smash slammed.
Goes down to the bowels of the boat to do cocaine because her friend wants to do cocaine. She doesn't seem too into doing it,
Who
but
hasn't?
guess what? She still does it. So, bootlicker. I like the character. She didn't get enough screen time, like JJ. I think the same of Tamara. I like all the women in this movie, and none of them get nearly enough screen time. And then the one that does is just
She's bland.
painfully uninteresting.
Yes, it's a good movie. A lot of people shit on it, but we enjoy it. Just don't enjoy the final girl. Sorry, Rennie or Renee.
It's a wacky movie. It's
Jason can teleport.
fun. If you're watching this movie and taking it too seriously, then that is your first mistake.
Yeah,
Because
this isn't something that Martin Scorsese would call a picture.
no, but if you can turn your brain off, it's so much fucking fun.
Yes, I like
Rennie,
it.
yeah, unfortunately, not the greatest final girl.
She's maybe the least fun part of a fun movie.
It's not enough to ruin it for me. There's a whole wealth of secondary characters. I think the Friday franchise has the best secondary characters, not just in any specific movie, across the entire franchise.
Yeah, for slashers.
There's so many people that quote, those damn enchiladas or you big dildo.
Maybe Scream could challenge it for that, in
Don't
my
be
opinion.
a dead fuck. Scream, let me think.
You've got Tatum, Gail, Dewey, Kirby,
Uh,
Robbie, Randy.
hang on. So I don't consider Sydney is 100% the face of the franchise. I don't consider Gale and Dewey secondary characters,
Okay.
though. But
Who'd you go for?
so Tatum, Randy, Joel,
There's the sisters in Scream 2, Rebecca Gayheart and
yep,
Ellen's wife.
Jennifer Jolie.
That's the only one that comes to mind as a rival, but it has more because it has more movies.
Part 8 is probably the strongest when it comes to secondary characters. There's a lot of interesting characters that can distract from Rennie. A
Yeah.
bit of smoke and mirrors. Like, hey, if we're so fun and funny, you won't notice how boring our final girl is. Look over here.
I think maybe part 2 and part 6 has my favorite side characters. That's just me. The kids in the camp that get killed. There's actual kids, that are going to the camp that have some funny lines. I forget the other characters. I know there's the one girl that you find really annoying, but the others I enjoy.
I find all kids annoying. They're all created equal. Not all the time, but all kids have the capacity to be annoying.
Well, speaking of turning your brain off, a little movie in 1993 called Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday, was
Oof.
made after
Oof.
Jason Takes Manhattan. In a way, the franchise got dumber, and the standard of Final Girl
I'm
certainly
so
went
sorry,
downhill.
Adam. I don't agree with him.
It's okay.
Listen,
Nothing against Adam Marcus. Yeah, it's not a movie I'm a fan of. Maybe I should do a Creighton Duke appreciation tweet or something. The Law King of Final Friday. He just knows
Look.
everything because
So Jason Goes to Hell is definitely the most controversial movie of the franchise. I think that Steven fits the final girl mold. Obviously, he's not a girl, but he's the one
he's the main character, really.
with the exception of Jessica at the end when she stabs Jason with the dagger of Kandahar, that fucking knife from Evil Dead.
Yeah.
She doesn't really have any scenes with Jason. Like Steven is the one that's fighting Jason. He's shooting people. Steven's the one that's really being physical.
Yeah, Jessica Kimball is our final girl for this outing, but as you say, it's Steven that's the heavy lifter here. Jessica gets to be a final girl almost by default. She's this relative of Jason that there's some shit about him having to kill a relative or whatever to become reborn after being blown up in the opening of the movie.
He has to transfer his soul into the body of a blood relative. Jessica's his blood relative. Her and Steven have a child, but they're not together, and they're actually estranged at the beginning of the movie. She wants nothing to do with him. We don't really know the lore, but from what we do see, Jessica really paints Steven out to be like this really bad dude. Wants nothing to do with him. You would think he did the worst to her, and it's really up to interpretation as to what happened. It my assumption's always been that he did not handle the pregnancy news well.
Yeah, but based on what we see in the actual movies, he's not all that bad.
No,
His
he's a
heart's in
nice
the right
dude who
place. He's doing what he can.
hands up 4 of his
save the
fingers on
day.
a silver platter to be broken in order
Great
to
and
save
Duke.
Jessica. So
You're welcome.
Steven goes through it.
Jessica's kind of
Listen,
a passenger.
I don't find either of them particularly interesting, but if I had to choose, gun to my head, Steven's the better character.
I agree.
Well, I suppose Jessica's baby, Stephanie, she counts as a final girl. She survives. And you know what? She's more interesting than Jessica.
Wait.
Jessica is the first one that we've gotten to that I can say that I strongly dislike.
Well, hold that thought because it's Jason X time, and our final girl this
Oh,
time is
God.
Rowan, who again gets her licks in on Jason early in the movie, but then, unlike the agent from Jason Goes to Hell, she sticks around after because, like Jason, she gets frozen and reanimated on a ship in the distant future after Earth has been destroyed and hockey has been banned. In the year 2024, hockey was banned. Rightly so.
Whoa, watch your mouth.
Rowan is our final girl in Jason X, and bleh, boring.
Bah. I like that.
She's
Listen,
just there.
she is like if dry toast was a person. Like
Very dull, inexpressive character.
tasteless, underseasoned.
She's cut
Like
from the Rennie cloth.
she's worse than Rennie.
Yeah, even yeah, I would agree. She's downgrade on Rennie.
You know what? You know one thing we didn't mention that Rennie has going for her? She has a really fucking awesome dog. Rowan does
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I see what you mean.
She's painfully boring.
The dog would have helped.
And I've watched Jason X many times. I don't remember anything about her. There's nothing about her that's memorable. Every single part of Jason X that sticks out in my mind, all my favorite scenes, she's nowhere to be found.
Yeah,
She's just there.
yeah, like even KM14, who's a robot. And I guess if you wanted to bend the rules a bit, you could say she's a final girl. Even she's more entertaining and more impactful in this movie than Rowan.
She is, but
We can't count a robot, especially a robot that's just ahead by the end.
it's like a bit of a cheat sheet
Yeah,
because she's a
'cause
robot and she can't die.
yeah, anyone else would be dead, but not her. So we're going to disqualify KM and settle for Rowan against that Will almost because Rowan is dry toast.
If I had my
No
choice, it
butter.
would be Janessa or Adrienne.
Yeah, two fun characters.
Janessa likes her nipple twisting.
Yeah, like that's a final girl for you right there.
We
Canadian
love
actress
nipple
too.
twisting. We love nipple play. Not the silence. All right.
We love nipple play.
And
Okay.
Adrienne, we didn't get to see a lot of her beyond the cryo kill. So there's really nothing about her. I don't know anything about her either. But I really like the outfit she was wearing. She's
Yeah,
got
she
this
does look
really
good.
cute outfit on, and I would have just liked to see more. And unfortunately, I think she was one of the first to die. So
Yeah,
we're
Jason
left with
gets her when he
Rowan.
wakes up. She's the first one. So
Yeah.
smashes her fucking face in, leaves us with Rowan, who doesn't even save the day. It's Broski that saves the day when he defies the laws of physics to spear Jason away from the ship.
She doesn't have any fight scenes with Jason. The one who does the bulk of the damage to Jason, aside from Brodsky, is KM when she pulls out this gun and
Fucks him up.
just completely obliterates him. To be fair, once
In the,
Jason becomes Uber Jason, he's pretty much indestructible.
yeah, nobody's beating him physically at that point. You're not going to see Tommy Jarvis just whacking at him with a machete.
I feel like Brodsky carrying him into the atmosphere of space and basically the two of them turning to ash was fitting.
Rounded world of Jason X.
Brodsky sacrificed himself, ultimate sacrifice, gave his
He's
life
ultimately the hero.
to save everybody else. Rowan's just, and she only has one facial expression.
Yeah, like if you picture Rowan in your head, that's the facial expression she wears for the whole movie. No matter what's happening, it's always the same.
Rowan survived out of dumb luck because she just didn't get got. But she didn't outsmart him. She didn't outplay him. The most boring final girl of the entire franchise. I strongly dislike her because she's so boring. Like, how dare you?
In a
It's
Friday movie, really?
yeah,
You
it's
bitch,
almost how dare you come into this franchise and
dig the
just
place out.
be so boring?
Well, if we go from the most boring final girl of the franchise to the most annoying final girl of the franchise,
Worst
in
final
Freddy
girl of the
in
franchise.
Freddy versus Jason, Laurie. Wait, Freddy died by fire, Jason by water.
How
How
can
can we
we
use
use
that?
that?
Girl, shut up. You just sit over there and be quiet. I mean, she looks good. I'll give her that much. But as a character, like it's another one where there's better options
I mean,
surrounding her.
Gib was right there.
Yeah, Catherine Isabel. Come on now. Instead, we get
E
what's the actress's name? I forget it. I
Who?
don't think she.
Lori?
Yeah, what's
Monica
the
Kina.
Monica Keane?
Kina.
Kina. Okay. Again, even the surname doesn't work. Laurie Campbell. Bad final girl.
You're British. Your last name is probably Cockwomble or something. Like, let's calm down.
I think my last name's Italian.
Cockwomble.
Evil Cockwomble. What's my name?
It's painful to watch her.
Bad acting. Bad writing.
Mm, I've seen her in other things and she's good. It's part of what bothers me about this movie. I felt like she was so much better than the performance she put in. As for the writing, I love Damien Shannon and Mark Swift. I do know that there were a lot of things in their script that were changed. At one point, they had Freddie calling Jason Mama's boy, and somebody changed it to asshole. Just little things that were tweaked and changed and maybe
What a
added in,
great
or
change.
that they weren't responsible for. So in my mind, I like to think that that whole died by fire and Jason died by water line was not them. I pray to God it wasn't them. They're great writers. But anytime you have a movie that has so much studio influence on the creative process, it never fucking ends well.
Yeah.
There's this part in the movie where she's like fighting with her dad and she yells at him, "How long have you been working at Weston Hills? Because I thought you were a fucking general practitioner." And every single time I just roll my eyes. The line delivery is so off. She does have, to her credit, if we're going to talk about the pros, she's got that strength. She's the one who goes into the dream world and pulls Freddie out. And then once she does pull Freddie out, she's got some great scenes with them, some fighting and chasing scenes.
Yeah, she puts up a fight. She's not like the laziest girl in the franchise or anything, but
It's when she opens her mouth.
yeah, the actions are fine. It's the character itself sucks ass.
If you look at the actions alone, she's, a really good final girl. But then the
Everything else.
dialogue, it's like from one extreme to the next.
Yeah, I guess in a way she was fighting a losing battle, but like we said, Gib was right there. Catherine Isabel, much better. And by this point, she'd already done ginger snaps, stuff like that. So she was established. She could have been a real good choice of final girl for Freddy versus Jason. Instead, she gets to be almost Freddy's kill, but then Jason snatches her away at the last second.
I would have loved her to be a final girl. She smokes, she drinks, she fucks. That's what I like in a final girl.
Watches the boyfriend get folded up.
My number 2 choice for final girl, even though he's not a girl, but I love him so much, Freeberg. Man, that goalie was pissed about something.
I don't enjoy this movie as much as some people seem to. It's one of those movies where people say, if you hate it, you hate fun. Maybe I do.
I think the people who like this movie fall into one of 2 categories. They're either Fred heads, because let's be real, if you look at Freddy versus Jason from a nightmare standpoint, it's a great movie. It's Freddy centric. 3/4 of the movie takes place in Springwood.
Yeah, he drives the story. He's really the focal point of it. Even though Jason gets a lot of kills, Freddy's the overarching villain, I think.
From the perspective of a nightmare fan, I think that the movie delivered exactly what they would have wanted. So either you fall into that category of a Fred head or you favor the New Line movies. I feel like diehard Paramount fans are generally the ones who are not in love with this movie.
Agree with that, because I mean that's the category that we fall into. We prefer the Paramount movies, generally speaking.
I think that the movie could have been lifted by a stronger final girl. My feelings about the movie would be far more positive with a better final girl.
Maybe Kane Hodder too.
We are on to the most heinous final girl bait and switch in horror movie history. Probably. I say that all the time.
It's a big statement.
Is there one that's more heinous?
Halloween 5, maybe.
Oof.
Rachel for Tina. I
So-
don't hate Tina as much as a lot of people do. I know you hate her,
Fuck Tina.
but that's a pretty big switcheroo, especially after Halloween 4. Halloween Resurrection, I guess, kills off Laurie Strode in the opening and then gives us Sarah, who really is among the worst final girls.
After the incestuous kiss.
Those are the 2 big ones that spring to mind for me. But yeah, Friday the 13th, the reboot, as much as we like it, pretty bad switcheroo there at the end. They teased us with Jenna, set her up as the final girl, and then nope, she dead. You're gonna have to settle for Whitney.
Best I can do is Whitney.
How do we feel about Whitney?
Underwhelmed. And it's not her fault. My feelings about her have nothing to do with the writing or Amanda Righetti's performance. Amanda
Yeah, Amanda
Righetti's a good
Righetti.
actress.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's a good actress, so it's not on her.
No, it's not. And
She's just not Jenna.
Damian Shannon and Mark Swift returned to write. The writing for me was on point.
Yeah.
It was that we did not get enough time with Whitney to care about her. The audience got attached to Jenna,
Yes.
and when she died as unceremoniously as she did,
Which was a rewrite, apparently. You were telling me this.
yeah, she was originally supposed to survive. There were a lot of, not rewrites, there were a lot of things that they cut from the movie. There were versions of it that more clearly defined Jenna's relationship with Trent, because apparently there was one line that was cut where she turns to Bree and says, "Get your hands off my man." So there's a lot of changes, but the main one was that she was supposed to survive, and they just decided to kill her off in the tunnel. I love Danielle Panabaker. She's a great actress. And I mean, look, I'll say this about every single final girl. They're all beautiful. They're all stunning. But Danielle Panabaker, her face card, holy shit. She's just got this beautiful ethereal face.
Yeah, she's a pretty good looking
And
girl. You're right.
her hair in this movie looks like a fucking Pantene commercial. Her hair is insane. Every single time I watch this movie, I always find myself like just staring at her hair, thinking, I'd love to run my fingers through it. It looks so soft and so thick, and oh, damn, what a waste.
Yeah. Winnie's fine, I think. Winnie's not, it's not that she's a bad final girl or, like you say, bad performance. We see her tied up and screaming for most of her scenes, and then she gets a couple of cringe lines at the end. She has her own TCM 2013
Say hi to mommy
moment.
in hell.
Yeah.
Okay, I said that I really like the writing. That might be the only weak point in the entire fucking script.
It does Whitney no favors. Yeah.
We
There's this theory that at the end, when Jason pops out of the water and grabs her, that he then kills them. I don't know whether that's been confirmed by anyone actually attached to the movie. So maybe she doesn't even count.
There's
She's not
supposed
dead
to
when
be
we
a
last see her.
sequel. I'd be curious to
We
know
never
what that
got it.
sequel was going to be.
17 years later, we're still waiting.
Yeah. I don't know if we would have picked up where we left off with Jenna and Clay. Sorry, Whitney and Clay. See, even my brain knows it's supposed to be Jenna and Clay.
She's still alive when we last see her, so I don't count her as dead. She's still a final girl to me, damn it. Just another great one.
The final fight scene in the barn is pretty good. She puts up a good fight. It's just I haven't spent enough time with her in the first 2 acts to really be that invested in her surviving.
Okay.
But I have spent enough time with Jenna to feel really fucking depressed about her dying.
And Jenna would have been high up on the Alice scale, like right near the top, maybe below Megan,
Below Ginny.
Ginny,
That's it. Below
above,
Ginny.
above or below Tina. I really like Jenna. I'd
I
probably put her a bit
think
above Tina.
Jenna would be above Tina.
Okay, maybe that's a hot take that we both share. Tina has a lot of fans.
But we love Tina. It's no slander. I'd love to put everything in the top spot. I want to love everything. Don't you
Except for
just
Laurie.
love? You just love loving things?
No, I'm
Like-
full of hate.
Yeah, you're not like me. No, but
Born hated.
it's true. Like when you ask me to rank any franchise or anything,
2.5 stars, that's what I say.
it's so fucking hard because I just want to love everybody and everything. Putting her above Tina doesn't diminish how I feel about Tina. I ride really fucking hard for Tina. She's underrated final girl, not only in the Friday franchise, but in the whole genre.
So, Whitney, above or below Alice? Not the delay. I thought this was a pretty simple one. I'd put it below personally.
I don't find Whitney to be an uninteresting character. I don't find her boring the
Don't
way I
dislike
find
her.
Alice. She's like the Corey Cunningham of Friday in the sense that everybody kind of feels slighted by her replacing Jenna as the final girl. People have feelings about it, but none of that is her fault. She's literally just reading off a page, doing her job, and
This really is the Corey Cunningham defense.
no, but that's what it is.
Above Alice, then.
So I
just
can't
saying.
I can't hold it against her that she didn't get enough screen time for me to like her more. So after Jenna would be Tina, after Tina would be Trish, Whitney would have to be above Alice.
Damn.
She's in the middle, definitely above
Alright.
Chris.
Maybe a little underrated than Whitney, but due to circumstances, more so than any faults of the character itself or the actress. Yeah. She's a victim of circumstance.
If anything, he could have been a gentleman and let the two
Yeah, ladies
women
first, man.
go, right?
He's the real
And then
villain of
Jenna
the
would be
movie,
alive and
not Jason.
he would be the one that's dead. And I'd be okay with that
We'd
because
have
I'm
two
not the
final
biggest
girls.
Clay fan.
Yeah. But as it is, Whitney is the final Friday final girl because it's been 17 years and we haven't had another. We've got the Crystal Lake series coming up. Maybe that'll give us a final girl that we can add to the list. Make it 13.
I already know that the Crystal Lake series is going to give me a final girl to add to the list.
Margaret.
Tammy cakes, you doofus.
I know.
I know. I know you know.
I know you know I know.
I'm not going back and forth.
Pammy Cakes is going to be big number 13. And maybe there'll be a number 14 too. I've not really followed what the storyline's going to be with that. Is she going to start killing people?
It's my assumption that this beginning of the show is going to be the accident, Jason drowning, and we're just going to go from there. I mean, if the movies are to be believed, Barry and Claudette are the first people that she kills, but I believe that those are just the first two that she kills on screen. She's going to start with the two counselors that were fucking.
Well, hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's even close to as good as the reboot was way back then.
I'm hopeful. Linda Cardellini as Pamela Voorhees. It's very interesting to me.
I like that casting.
I think that's going to work out.
I like Linda Cardellini. She's been in a few stinkers in the last few years.
Who
She
hasn't?
was in that La Llorona movie. It was really bad. Let's make a white woman the main character in this story. That's that's another discussion.
Girls
Let's
gotta eat, right?
well, the Friday the 13th franchise has given us 12 final girls. We're not going to rank them all, but we can talk
Who's your
about
favorite? I think
what
our
our favorites,
I think our favorite.
least favorites are. Our favorite,
I can say our favorite because don't we favor the same one?
Laurie, of course. No,
Are you drunk?
no.
Not Lori. Macon. Stop trolling me.
She's the favorite, but is she the
She's
best?
no, but
Are
we
we differentiating?
well, I think we already agreed that Megan is our favorite, but Ginny is the best.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. Just because Ginny does more, and the personalities aren't too far apart, but I think Megan wins out just because of that.
She's got that attitude.
She makes us laugh, and Jason Lives is our favorite of the franchise. I think that's still true.
It is. We're a bit biased towards Megan and everything about part 6.
Technically, Ginny's the best. Megan's our favorite.
Literally what I just said.
Yeah, I was agreeing. I was reaffirming it.
All right. Agree with
I
me harder.
don't get used to it.
You'll be okay. Having Vietnam flashbacks right now. Who is your least favorite final girl? I think I already know the answer, but who's your least favorite?
Laurie. I think I made it pretty clear that I dislike Laurie. There's others that bore me. There's 2 or 3 that bore me, but Laurie, she's different. She annoys me. Like, I'm actively upset watching Freddy versus Jason, having to deal with Laurie's bullshit for 90 minutes or whatever it is.
All right, that's fair.
My least favorite. But she's probably not the worst. Again, technically, my least favorite. Who's your least favorite?
It's a tie.
Indecisive much.
Indecisive is my middle name. It's a tie between Lori, who I find annoying just in general,
Yes.
and Rowan, who is so fucking boring that she annoys me as much as Lori.
Yeah, I guess Laurie, if nothing else, is not boring.
No.
Because Rowan is boring and one note and grey.
I dislike both of them for different reasons, but at the end of the day, they both landed in pretty much the same place. So, my 2 worst, with an honorable mention for Jessica Kimball.
Well, dishonorable mention, I think they would call that.
That's better. I strongly dislike her, but Rowan and Lori are the worst.
So that's 3 successive movies that have the weakest final girls. That really was a rough patch.
I mean, it's almost like
Damn
the
New Line.
problem. I was going to say, it's almost like the problem is New Line.
Yeah. Robert Shea is added to the list of enemies of the Body Count Continues podcast.
And don't get me started on that fucking villain. He is my arch nemesis.
Okay.
I don't like what New Line has done with the franchise, the reboot obviously being the exception, but I feel like The reboot is the exception because of Platinum Dunes.
I was going to say that's the Platinum Dooms effect, really. People used to shit
Mm.
on their movies during that era, but they appreciate them more nowadays, and rightly so.
You got Lori, you got Rowan, and Jessica.
Three
Holy
thumbs down.
fuck. They just shat the bed 3 times in a row.
I think to get back to the least favorite versus worst debate, technically, I think Rowan would go down as the worst, just because Laurie, as annoying as she is, she does more than Rowan overall. Begrudgingly, I would admit that, but I still don't like her. You know, when I think of Rowan in my head, I don't even see her in color. I just see her like
Yeah.
sepia toned
She's
because she's
Blackcoat's
not.
daughter toned.
Fuck you. But yeah, just gray, boring.
There's so many different final girls in this franchise, different archetypes.
I just want to
So,
know if there's other Sarah Troopers
if
out there.
Rowan's your favorite or Trisha's your favorite or Alice is your favorite, there's no wrong answer, and there's a final girl for everyone.
That's Friday for you. That's why they should have kept making them.
They will, again.
Jason Voorhees will return in Avengers Doomsday, the ultimate crossover. Maybe he'll take out the X-Men.
It's about to be an X-Men snuff film anyways, so why not? We thank you all for listening, and we invite you to hit like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you next Tuesday.
And we will actually see you on Tuesday this time, not Friday, because there's no
We
special
will.
event. There's no Friday the 20th. So next Tuesday it is.
Happy Friday the 13th,
It's a real holiday.
the best holiday.